And if we're going to talk about that, we have to talk about PACE. I've briefly mentioned it a couple of times, but by the year 2000, when we were becoming iSeries, AIX and OS 400 were both able to run on the same power processors. Okay, so that created the possibility that we could have executables which are MI based, in other words, AS400 or TIMI based, okay, and AIX based running on the same hardware in the same partition. We just had to create within OS 400, then i5OS, now IBMI, an environment where those AIX-based runtime modules could run, those binaries could run. And so we created PACE. It is driven by a release of AIX that's fitted in to talk to SLIC rather than talking directly to an AIX kernel. So when AIX in PACE needs a specific low-level function from the operating system, we have it go and talk to our lowest level of our operating system, which is colloquially known as SLIC, rather than talking to the AIX kernel. And then SLIC dynamically toggles the power processor mode to say, am I talking in IBMI now, or am I talking in AIX? That's important because addresses are treated differently in AIX than they are in SLIC, okay? Particularly because of single level store, but also because of TerraSpace, okay? The actual the actual processor instructions are the same instructions, okay? Because they're all running power instructions, but how you treat the stack, how you treat the addresses that are being used are different depending on whether you're running in IBMI mode or where you're running in AIX mode. But we just take care of that. PACE, as I mentioned before, gets memory from the same SLIC TerraSpace pools that are used by ILE. So PACE uses all of its memory from that TerraSpace stuff that I talked about. And so we have PACE, which sits on one side of the operating system with these shared libraries that allow you to implement lots of different things, whether it's PHP or Ruby or SAP or whatever you want to do, okay? And then that integrates with things that are in the more traditional side of the IBMI operating system. We therefore have all these new open and modern capabilities, whether it's the open RPG capabilities, the modern RPG capabilities, or the open source languages like R, Node, Mono, PHP, Python, etc., all running on IBMI. And the architecture of how PACE works is illustrated here. We don't have time to go into it, but you're getting the PDF for this. If you want to dive into it more deeply, you're welcome to. That shows you how these things fit together. This allows us to have the modern next-gen application structure where we have pieces of our application written in the code language that makes sense for the operation that they're trying to do. Okay, so that is a key to moving forward and required us to make several different architectural changes which never could have existed in the original AS400, and which were only laid the groundwork of when we did the PACE environment in 2000 when we became iSeries.